Our St. Louis Dragons have a pivotal doubleheader today as we head on the road to face off against the LA Rams and the Dallas Cowboys. These two games are going to be pivotal for us as we look to maintain our stranglehold on the NFC West. In the last episode, we had a prospect profile going over the running backs and wide receivers in this year's draft class, and we've still got a couple more prospect profiles over the rest of the year. We also played against the Denver Broncos, and the result of that game was interesting as we won 21-3, the biggest margin of defeat in any of our games all year. The story of the game was the turnovers. 8 interceptions, 3 thrown by Puma Whitlock, 5 thrown by Zachariah Drake. I think both quarterbacks, Drake in particular, really weren't that bad other than the interceptions. But when 7 different players pick off passes, it's hard to excuse the two quarterbacks for throwing all those takeaways. So as it stands now, we're in first place of the NFC West, but not convincingly. The Rams are a game back, and the Seahawks are a game and a half back. And keep in mind, Seattle's already beaten us this year. We haven't played against the Rams yet. We have to play them 2 out of our next 3 weeks. And then we also play Dallas, who is 2-9, which is certainly a surprise, and we'll talk about why that is shortly. But first, our focus is going to be on the Rams, our most important game of the year. That is until we play against them again in 2 weeks, next episode. These two teams are obviously bitter rivals, and it's not just that we share a division and that we're both good, but the Rams moved out of St. Louis 10 years ago, and there's reason for our fans to have animosity towards the team that left their city. Of course, the Rams have Aaron Donald, arguably the greatest defensive player ever. We don't need to challenge him, give him another chip on his shoulder because he's already really good as is. The Rams are really strong on both sides of the ball, especially defensively, and I want to focus on getting the ground game established, largely because of DeAndre Swift getting injured. So Swift dislocated his hip against the Broncos. He's not the only injury from that game. We also lost Jedrick Wills to a torn labrum, and Trajan Blyshenden got hurt in practice of the shoulder strain, and that doesn't even include Devin White, who's already injured. With Swift out, we're going to need to get the run game going quickly. So, of course, the Rams are led by Deshaun Watson, not the greatest human off the field, but on the field he's been pretty good for them over the last couple of years. They haven't extended him yet. I don't know why. I feel like they probably should. Of course, they have Nick Chubb out of the backfield. Cooper Kupp is still really solid with a talented group of other receivers, including this 73 overall named Puka Nacua. I wonder if he's any good. Defensively, obviously, they're led by Aaron Donald. They also have Josh Allen, and they've got a handful of solid young players in the secondary. So let's get this show on the road. The winner of this game will take first place of the NFC West. Either the Dragons will add to their lead, or the Rams would win, both teams would have the same record, and the Rams would take the head-to-head tiebreaker for now. The Dragons could be in for some challenges offensively with the loss of DeAndre Swift and Jedrick Wills. When Swift was injured earlier in the year and missed time, the run game was a train wreck. It's not necessarily the running back's fault, but when DeAndre Swift has been healthy, the run game has been significantly better, so we need our running backs and our offensive line to produce. And if the run game does not work, then we need the passing game to play well. And Puma Whitlock, coming off a 3-interception performance against the Broncos, is certainly going to have to step up. The defense is coming off their best game of the year, 3 points allowed and 5 takeaways as Watson heaves it up on 3rd down, and he misfires just a little bit, overthrown by about 20 yards, and that'll force a punt, and so the Dragons get the ball. Play action fake for Davis. Here's Puma Whitlock on the run. Fires for Jamison Williams. Tough throw by Puma Whitlock to get the first down over to J-Mo. The Dragons offense had arguably their worst game of the year last week. Aside from the turnovers, the offense just wasn't all that solid as Aaron Donald is in the backfield with the sack. Donald historically has played really well against the Dragons. 3rd and 16. Puma's just looking short for Keon, but it's broken up. Good coverage by T.J. Hyler, the 3rd-year corner out of Alabama. The Dragons would decide to punt it. Pin the Rams back deep in their own territory. 3rd and 3. Watson on the move. Misfires. Cooper Kupp got a hand on it. Good coverage by Jelani Tavai. And the Rams are forced to punt it away once again. Dragons back with it. 3rd and 8. Play action. Puma again rolls out to the right. He's under a lot of pressure, hoping Keon can get open, and he does. Tykeem Keon Jr. comes down with it to the 47. Keon certainly has not seen as big of a role this year, largely because of injury, also because other guys are stepping up. Good to see him with a nice play, though. 3rd and 5. Davis gets nothing. Big tackle there by Jermaine Pratt. The Dragons could go for a field goal. It's a makeable kick, but again, they decided to punt it, pinning the Rams deep. 2nd and 3. Watson is sacked. It's Owen Popo and Devontae Wyatt in the backfield with half a sack. 3rd and 4. Rams look to go for the screen, but it completely backfires. Watson was under a ton of pressure, and the Rams' first 3 drives all end as 3 and outs, leading to punts. Dragons back with it. 2nd and 1. Puma with a strike down the field, connecting with Griffin Weaver III. Puma had a gain of about 20 on the ground there, but he realized he could get about 40 yards in the air with that throw to Weaver. In the second quarter, 3rd and 4. Nice throw on the out route over to Jamison Williams. That'll go for a first down. 3rd and 8 now. Puma looking short. It's caught by Arturo Modelo. Breaking tackles, and he does not get the first down, but there's a flag. Face mask against Ernest Jones. So that'll bring the Dragons half the distance to the goal line, and it'll get them an automatic first down. A massive penalty from Jones. Can the Dragons punch it in? 2nd and 2. It's Tornado Davis II in for a score, and the Dragons are on the board first. Davis getting some extended playing time with the DeAndre Swift injury. Good to see him capitalizing there, and it's now 7-0. Rams with it. Watson fires, and it's caught by Washington, who is flipped on his head, but not before getting the Rams' first down of the entire game. The Dragons' defense from last week looks like they're back. 3rd and 5. Nice throw up the middle from Watson over to Cooper Kupp, and the Rams have it past the 50. Okay, now the offense is starting to get something going here for LA. Watson hands it off for Chubb. Gets by a defender with blocks down the field, and Saluni catches up, but not before he brings it to the 8-yard line for a gain of around 30. Big run for Nick Chubb. The Rams really haven't tried to establish the run game, and I don't really know why. They have one of the best running backs in the league. 1st and goal, open in the flats. It's Cambiz Shakaby, the tight end, who dives in for a score. And the LA Rams tie it at 7. So a big drive for the Rams. They're on the board, and now we've got ourselves a game again. 3rd and 4. Puma Whitlock under pressure. Can't find anybody, and it's dropped in the secondary. The rookie Alex Weldy Jr. out of Temple is unable to hold on to it, and so the Rams get it back. Here's Watson on 2nd and 4 with a strike up the middle. It's caught by Van Jefferson. Remember a couple seasons ago, I think season 2, where Van Jefferson had 13 catches for 170 yards against us? I sure do. Here's Jefferson again. Brings it to the 7 as he beats DeMore Diggins on back-to-back plays. 1st and goal. Chubb powers it in and gets leveled by Samasoni Saluni, but he's in for a touchdown anyway. And so the Rams take the lead. It's now 14-7. LA's offense looking a lot better here in the second quarter, and the Dragons are going to look to respond with under 2 to go. Pumas sacked again. Aaron Donald with his 2nd of the first half. Big play here now, 3rd and 7. Dragons still with all 3 timeouts as it's a fake handoff. Puma on the run, gets it to Jamison Williams, who only gets 5. So a big stop there for the Rams. They would actually review that play and determine that Williams did not catch the ball inbounds. Not that it really matters. The drive was over anyway. Watson throws it away on that play for the Rams. B.J. Ojulari sending pressure in the backfield. And the Dragons get it back with 36 seconds, looking to potentially get some more damage before the end of the half as the tight end Isaiah Likely brings it to the 43. Likely scored 2 touchdowns earlier this season in this building when the Dragons played the Chargers. Puma's going to look to run with it here, and he gets a first down with everybody running into Sean McVay. Did McVay not think to run out of the way with 4 giant men coming after him? 2nd and 2. Puma has an open man. It's Arturo Modelo, the star receiver, who brings it to the 3. And the Dragons call their second timeout with 14 seconds left in the first half. Now down to 11. 2nd and goal with an opportunity to tie it up. Puma in the zone. Fires, and it's caught in the end zone for a touchdown. Isaiah Likely with the score, and the Dragons will likely tie it up. Going into half, 14-14. Both offenses started slowly but picked it up as the game went along. I feel like we say that every week with the Dragons. The first quarter is always low scoring, and then both teams kind of pick it up after there. Let's take a look at our halftime report around the rest of the league. Us and the Rams are both monitoring Seattle. They're playing against Las Vegas, and currently the Raiders, who are 3-8, are upsetting Seattle 14-7. Of course, one of those 3 Raider wins is against us, but hopefully the Raiders can win that. That would be very helpful for both us and LA. The Thursday night game was between 2 AFC West foes. The Kansas City Chiefs beat the Chargers 24-12 with 2 touchdowns from running back Isaiah Pacheco. In Tampa, we've got a tight one here between the Vikings and the Bucs, tied at 7. Minnesota, in particular, certainly in the mix for an NFC wildcard spot. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, at 3-7, would kind of need a miracle. So as we go into the second half, I want to focus on throwing the ball. It's a tie game. I think both offenses are really starting to pick it up, and we could see a high-scoring second half. Although defensively, I want to focus on stopping the run. The Rams really haven't tried to get the ground game going. I have to imagine they will. It's Nick Chubb, after all. So the Dragons start with the ball. They're moving it down the field pretty well. 2nd and 2. Puma scrambling under a ton of pressure. Lobs it up, and it's caught! Jameson Williams to the 15. An unbelievable throw and catch by Puma and Jamo. Puma's rolled out a lot today. He's been under some pressure, and he's made some really impressive throws. 1st and goal now from the 2. Puma Whitlock calls an audible as it's a play action. Puma again rolls out to the right with plenty of open space, and he's in for a score. A rushing touchdown for Puma Whitlock, his 8th score on the ground of the season. And so the Dragons take the lead with back-to-back drives to end the first half and start the second half, and they capitalize, scoring touchdowns on both. Rams with it now. Watson on the first play at the drive connects with DeAndre Washington, who brings it to the 42-yard line. Nice play there by the young receiver in his 3rd season for LA. 3rd and 3. Watson looks to throw it. Under pressure from Bonnet. Floats it up, and it's broken up into secondary by Samasoni Saluni, who played his college ball not too far away at USC. So the Dragons get it back with an opportunity to make it a 2-score game as Puma again goes to the right. He has a wide open man. It's Arturo Modelo, who brings it to the 41. Lane Johnson at right tackle has done a great job today of giving Puma Whitlock time and the ability to scramble right. This time he stays in the pocket and fires for Griffin Weaver, who has the Dragons to the 28. Now at the 23, 2nd and 5. Puma still in the zone. He's been in the zone pretty much the entire quarter. Again, rolling out to the right. He has Jameson Williams with room. Breaks a tackle, and he's in for a touchdown. It's Jamo with the score. 3rd all-purpose touchdown today for Puma Whitlock. And the Dragons have scored 21 unanswered points. They lead at 28-14, really starting to get some control of this game. This is a big 3rd and 9 here for the Rams. Watson rolls out under pressure, and he's going to try to run with it. Not even close to the first down. Okuda with the initial contact, and Devontae Wyatt finishes him off. Into the 4th quarter now, Dragons coming off a great 3rd as Modelo gets the first down of the out route, brings it to the 44. Nobody covered him. I don't know why, because Modelo is really, really good. Puma, again, scrambles to the right. He's got Modelo wide open again, his 7th reception of the game. Again, I got to give a shout-out to Lane Johnson. He's had Josh Allen in hell, giving Puma Whitlock so much time to make plays. And right as I'm gassing him up, Josh Allen's in there with half a sack, along with a couple other Rams defenders. 3rd and 7 now. Puma stays calm and composed in the pocket with a dime for Isaiah Likely, who brings it to the 21. What a throw by Puma Whitlock, who has not thrown a single incompletion in the second half. He looks so dialed in right now. Now in the red zone, 3rd and 3. Puma again goes right, scrambling, looks, fires for a touchdown. It's Modelo time. Arturo Modelo with his 9th score of the year. The Dragons have scored 28 unanswered points and have turned this into an all-out blowout as it's 35-14. First play at the drive for the Rams is the only play. It's picked off. Demore Diggins with his 5th interception of the year as Watson turns it over. And this game gets from bad to worse quickly for the Rams. 3rd and 11. Here's Puma. Under pressure, he is sacked. The former Dragon, Levi Onzurike, leads the way. And the Dragons do not capitalize off the turnover. They have to punt it. Rams back with it. 2nd and 7, backed up at the 12. Watson looks to throw, and he's intercepted again. Demore Diggins, another interception. That's 2 picks within 3 defensive plays for DeMar Diggins, who now has 6 interceptions on the year. That ties Tyrann Mathieu in Atlanta for the most interceptions this year in the NFL. 3rd and 8. Puma looks short. He's got Darwin Juskins, and he breaks a tackle in for a score. Puma Whitlock has set the Dragons franchise record for the most passing touchdowns in a game with 4. I'm surprised that no Dragon has thrown for 4 touchdowns in a game. We've been a team for nearly 4 years now, but it's never happened until today. Puma as well, don't forget, has a rushing touchdown as well. So he has 5 all-purpose touchdowns, 4 in the second half, and that's with 1 incompletion, I think, since halftime. Rams back with it, down by 28. Things not looking good for them as Watson fires for Van Jefferson. Finally, a nice throw by Massage Man. 2nd and 10 with 2.5 to go. Watson floats it up, and it's picked again. John Johnson, the former Ram, with the interception against his old team. The Dragons acquired Johnson at the trade deadline from the Rams, and it's fitting that he finishes the game with an interception. What a dominant win from the St. Louis Dragons, 42-14, finishing the game on a 35-0 run. Puma Whitlock played the game of his life. The defense was phenomenal. Talk about a statement win on the road against a division rival who we had to beat. I mean, this was an all-out blowout. It was close early on, but over the last 25 minutes of the game, it was sheer domination from the Dragons, who dominated in every statistical attribute here. We had the ball for nearly 28 out of the possible 40 minutes. That should tell you all you need to know. Puma Whitlock was outstanding, 33 for 43, close to 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Again, the most complete game of his career. After throwing 3 interceptions last week, he came in today focused and clearly dialed in. He was a man on a mission in the second half. I think Puma's second half might have been the best individual half for a quarterback I think I've ever seen. He only threw 1 incompletion, and it's not like he was throwing checkdowns. Making throws on the run, under pressure, going downfield. He looked a little Mahomes back there, if you know what I mean. As for Deshaun Watson, he was not so good. I didn't roast him as much as I normally would, and that's because I let his play do the roasting for him. He was launching interceptions up in the 4th quarter like he's asking for massages in a Houston massage parlor. We didn't really run the ball well, which isn't ideal. It didn't matter. The Rams also didn't really run the ball well, but it's more so because they didn't try. Nick Chubb only had 6 carries, and to put that in perspective, we had 4 guys with at least 6 carries today. Receiving-wise, Arturo Modelo was phenomenal. 11 catches and a touchdown. Likely and J-Mo were both great, and they both also scored. Lane Johnson was unbelievable. Again, he had Josh Allen in hell, and Puma was able to roll right the entire game. The one guy who showed up today for the Rams was Aaron Donald. 2 sacks, 3 TFLs. He was very impressive. Also got a shout-out to DeMar Diggins because he has the tied for league lead in interceptions. Even if he's not all that great in coverage, it's good to see him forcing turnovers. A dominant win here against a rival. That'll certainly boost up team morale. We're now 9-2. We're going to officially finish over 500. And now we are in control of the NFC West. Seattle also lost against the Raiders. I might as well spoil it now. So we're able to get a game on both the Rams and the Seahawks, which is a really big deal. And now, although there's still 6 games left to go and still a lot of football left to be played, we are in the power position in the NFC West. Players of the week, obviously Puma Whitlock. I mean, duh. He's joined by Anthony Richardson, Fred Warner, and Max Crosby. I was hoping we would see DeMar Diggins there, but I get it. It's Fred Warner. So I want to talk about the MVP race real quick because Puma Whitlock is currently in 2nd. Prior to the Broncos game, he was in 4th. Then he dropped, understandably, to number 7. But he climbs up all the way from 7 to 2 after his dominant game against the Rams. So Puma Whitlock has a very realistic shot of winning the MVP, only trailing Jalen Hurts. Today we're going to go against Jalen Hurts' rival, the Dallas Cowboys, who are 2-10. How are the Cowboys 2-10? I really have no idea. The Cowboys on paper are very talented. They've had a lot of success in this series, and they haven't really been that bad. Despite what their record suggests, they're obviously a good roster on paper. And despite the fact that they're 2-10, they haven't really played all that poorly throughout the duration of the year. They're just not winning games. Their point differential is only minus 23, which for a 2-10 team really isn't that bad. All of their losses are super close. They're basically the inverse of the 2022 Minnesota Vikings. Of their 12 games, the largest margins of defeat were the 2 games that they won. They beat the Eagles handedly in Week 1. They blew out the Giants later. They lost kind of big to the Texans in Week 2, but pretty much all of their other games were within 1 score. The Cowboys are 0-9 in 1-score games, which is odd because it's not like this is a young, unproven team. They've made the Super Bowl in back-to-back seasons, winning it last year. Also kind of ironic that Ezekiel Elliott and Tony Pollard have both won Super Bowl MVPs, but that's not the point. Their roster, on paper, super talented. They've still got multiple 99 overall players. They still have Dak Prescott at quarterback, who, again, despite being 2-10, has been pretty good. Now, he's regressed quite a bit. He's only an 83 overall, but the numbers are not that bad. He's the only guy in the entire league who has more passing yards than Puma Whitlock, and he has one of the highest passer rating among quarterbacks. Of course, the Cowboys drafted his successor, Connor Canyon, with the last pick in the first round. Dallas did that assuming that their roster was good enough to compete this year, which obviously hasn't really panned out. They've got Tony Pollard out of the backfield, the reigning Super Bowl MVP, and they had the best wide receiver trio in the NFL. That starts with CeeDee Lamb, who currently should be the runaway favorite for the Offensive Player of the Year. He scored 11 times this season. He's on pace for around 1,700 receiving yards. They also have Dynamite Williams, who's really come into his own as a star player. He is in the top 10 in receiving yards in the NFL. And DJ Moore is as good of a wide receiver 3 as you can get, and he's also on pace for over 1,000 yards. They still have Micah Parsons. They still have Trayvon Diggs. Now, the one weakness with this team is their offensive line. It's not as good as it once was. They no longer have Zach Martin and former Dragon Tyron Smith, who have both retired. They also have former Dragon Terrence Steele, who is back at right tackle for the Cowboys after taking a year with us. So let's hop into this game on Sunday Night Football. The 9-2 St. Louis Dragons, who have won 9 of their last 10 games, face off against the Dallas Cowboys, who are easily the most perplexing team I think I've ever seen. The reigning Super Bowl champions. They've made it to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row. They're not a bad team. They have a quarterback playing at MVP level. They have the best offensive player in the NFL, but they're 2-10. They can't close out games. They're 0-9 in 1-score games. So if this game stays close, I like our chances, but we've got to make sure that's the case because these guys have a lot of talent, including Micah Parsons, flying off the edge in the backfield with a sack. And now the Cowboys will get the ball. 3rd and 5 from the 43. Here's Dak under pressure from Bonnet. Floats it up and it's incomplete. Jabril Fofana with the deflection. That'll force a punt. And the Dragons get it back, rocking their black tops and red pants as Juskins on 3rd and 4 loses 2. The Dragons looked to fool Dallas on the halfback draw. Doesn't work at all. That's Miguel Salazar who brings him down in the backfield. That'll force a punt, and Dallas gets it. 2nd and 10 up the middle. It's CeeDee Lamb, the Offensive Player of the Year frontrunner. One of 2 players in the entire league over 1,000 receiving yards. The other, Michael Pittman Jr. Although, if Arturo Modelo gets 66 yards today, he will also be over 1,000. Nice throw for the other X-Factor receiver. It's Dynamite Williams, drafted in the 3rd round a few years ago out of Kentucky. He's really come into his own despite the fact that the team is 2-10. 3rd and goal. Handoff to the fullback. Tommy Tremble, another former Dragon. He's in for a score. How about them Cowboys? Dallas marches down the field. They get a touchdown, and they lead it 7-0 with a former Dragon getting revenge against his old squad. St. Louis back with it. 3rd and 7. Short throw for Darwin Juskins. And finally, the Dragons get themselves a nice first down as Juskins gains around 10. Following play with 2 to go in the first quarter, Puma under center, handoff to the right side with Davis, and he is throttled backwards for a loss of 3. Nice tackle there from Dallas. 2nd and 13. Puma Whitlock looks to throw it up the middle with a dart for Griffin Weaver. Another guy who's getting a home reunion. Played his college ball at TCU. Has a lot of family at the game today, so hopefully he has himself a nice day. 3rd and inches. Floats it up, and it's broken up into secondary, likely the intended target. 4th and inches to start the second quarter. The Dragons have an interesting decision, and they're going to go for it at the 36-yard line. It's a handoff for the King, Derrick Henry, and he gets the first, gaining around 3. That'll keep the chains moving. Let's see if the Dragons can continue to push it down the field and look to tie the game up. 3rd and 11 from the 25. Puma looks to throw it up the middle. It's caught. Nice grab by Arturo Modelo, who nearly gets the first down. 4th and 1 now at the 14. Scared money ain't make no money. The Dragons are going to go for it again. Puma looks to throw it. He's under a ton of pressure. Nobody's open. On the run, looking for the end zone. It's tipped and dropped. Isaiah Likely had the ball right in his hands. DeMarvion Overshone deflected it right to Likely. Catch the ball when it's in your damn hands. Isaiah Likely just had 7 points drop out of his hands. I don't know how that happens. Cowboys hold on to their lead as their screen attempt on 3rd and 8 backfires horribly. Ojulari is hurt. He would end up dislocating his hip. That's a big loss for the Dragons, their 2nd best pass rusher. Dragons back on offense. Nice run for Davis with a juke move. Tornado Davis II with a huge gain of 31 yards. It's also kind of a homecoming for Davis. He played his college ball at the University of Houston. 3rd and 3. Puma, quick throw up the middle for the former TCU Horned Frog, Griffin Weaver III. That'll go for a first down. 2nd and 8. Puma, again, calm and composed in the pocket as he fires for Modelo, who brings it to the 7. Modelo's going to be covered by Trayvon Diggs, one of the best corners in the league, but Puma's not shying away from his favorite target. Here's Weaver! Throws himself into the end zone for a touchdown, putting his body on the line. His 3rd score of the year, and we're tied at 7. What a play by Griffin Weaver. Cowboys back with it on first down. It's a handoff to Deuce Vaughn. All 5'5" of them as he gets a solid gain of around 14. Tony Pollard's a little bit banged up. He should return in the second half, but for now, Deuce Vaughn is the lead back in the Dallas backfield. Prescott looks for the sidelines. Nice throw out to the tight end, Jake Ferguson, who gets the first down to the 43. Dallas is moving it pretty well as they look to get their lead back. Play action on first down. Prescott up the middle, fires it, and it's hauled in by Dynamite Williams, who really lives up to his name. When he gets the ball in his hands, he is dynamite with it. 2nd and 5. Prescott in the zone under pressure. He is sacked by Simeon Bonnet. And Dak Prescott is hurt for the Cowboys. This could be pretty significant. He won't go to the locker room, so he should be fine. But the 1st-round draft pick out of South Carolina, Connor Canyon, will be thrusted into action. His first NFL snaps. 3rd and 19, his first career pass is broken up by his former South Carolina teammate, Cam Lucifer II. The pass was underthrown for DJ Moore. Should have honestly been intercepted. That'll bring out the field goal unit. Long kick from around 50. It's right down the middle, and the Cowboys are back on top. It's now 10-7. So the Dragons once again trail. They've got the ball. They're around a minute left in the half. 3rd and 3. Puma cannot get rid of it. He's sacked for a 2nd time today by Micah Parsons. Cowboys back with it. Nice throw. It's caught by Vaughn, who gets into the 27. Dak Prescott, as you can see, already back in the game. The Connor Canyon experience ended up being pretty short-lived. Dallas is down to 3 seconds. What are they doing? They finally call a timeout. That was way too long. They could have called a timeout 20 seconds ago and taken some shots for the end zone. Instead, it's a 53-yard field goal with Tykeem Keon watching back, but it won't matter because the kick is good. And the Cowboys lead at 13-7 going into halftime. The Dragons generally start slow. This isn't unusual. And if the game stays close, again, I like our chances. They are 0-9 in one-score games, but we can't let this get out of hand. The Cowboys are good enough to turn this game into a blowout if they get on a roll. Let's take a look at our halftime report. We will start once again down in Tampa. An upset earlier today. The Buccaneers beat the Steelers in their creamsicles 28-21. That's a big game in the AFC playoff picture as the Steelers fall to 6-6. Big game here in the NFC. In New Orleans, the Saints upset Atlanta 17-14. This means, for those counting at home, A Dragons win puts them as the #1 seed in the conference. Shout out to Callaghan October on that play with an unbelievable touchdown run. The Monday night game is between the Packers and the Eagles. Of course, Jalen Hurts is the only guy ahead of Puma Whitlock in the MVP race. And fittingly, Jalen Hurts gets to play against the only team who has a worse record than the Dallas Cowboys. So as we go here into the second half, the offense has been subpar. The offense is often subpar in the first half, but hopefully we can get it together. And then defensively, Dak Prescott's been pretty solid, especially in the intermediate game. The Cowboys start the second half with the ball. If they score here, especially a touchdown, we could be in trouble. Read option for Dak. He's laid out by Devontae Wyatt, who's been great in both games today, getting some extra playing time with Trajan Blyshenden and B.J. Ojulari both missing time throughout this episode. It won't matter, though, because Tony Pollard runs for 14 yards on second down, just his second carry of the game after getting injured on his first. 3rd and 8 now for the Cowboys from the 37. Prescott looks to throw it up the middle. He fires for Dynamite Williams, who seems to be the go-to target. That's because CeeDee Lamb, who's been maybe the best football player in the NFL this year, he's been getting locked up by Jeff Okudah. 3rd and 6. Prescott looking downfield. It's caught by DJ Moore with a really impressive over-the-shoulders grab. He gets it all the way to the 21. What a throw and catch by Dak and DJ. From the 21, here's Prescott up the middle. Back for Moore. Breaks a tackle. He's in for a score. DJ Moore ran into 2 defenders and broke away from both of them. And to make matters worse, Orlin Babylon is hurt for the Dragons. Dallas is going to go for 2. Handoff for Tony Pollard. He walks the red carpet. And the Cowboys are up by 14. It's now 21-7. And now the Dragons got to get something going on this drive or else they could be in a little bit of trouble. 2nd and 5, a little under 3.5 to go in the third. Juskins loses yardage. Again, it's Miguel Salazar who brings him down. The run game was bad last week. It's been even worse this week. Completely non-existent. Nice catch, though, on 3rd and 8 by Jamison Williams, who gets a first down to the 45. Another 3rd down, this time 3rd and 7. Puma rolls out to the right, under pressure, throws it up. It's picked. Trayvon Diggs with the interception. It is bold to throw the ball near Trayvon Diggs. And I will say Arturo Modelo's had a nice day, but this time Diggs gets the upper hand. Puma now with his 10th interception of the year. Good run up the middle for a first down by Pollard. More points would make it a 3-score Dallas lead. Final play of the third. Downfield shot caught by Dynamite Williams. And that'll bring us into the fourth. Strong quarter for the Cowboys. They lead 21-7, and they have the ball in the red zone. 2nd and 8. Dak on the run, under pressure, gets it to CeeDee Lamb. He finally shows up, bringing it to around the 7-yard line. 1st and goal now after the nice first down. Dak and empty. Looks to throw it, goes short. It's Jake Ferguson who powers his way in for a score. And the Cowboys have turned this into a blowout. The Dragons are coming off their best game of the year against the Rams. Now they're having their worst game of the year. Puma runs into Mozzie Smith, who gets the sack. A Michigan man and a Penn State man sack the former Buckeye. 2nd and 21. Said Buckeye connects with Isaiah Likely, who brings it to the 46. And the sack proves to not really matter. Following play, Puma looking downfield. It's caught by Weaver on his head. Mossing 2 defensive backs, and Griffin Weaver's not that big. He's a shade under 6 foot, and he just postered 2 defensive backs. Puma's in the zone now, under a little pressure. He gets it to Greg Dortch, who slides forward to the 5. Nice play there by Dortch, who hasn't been a huge factor on the offense this year, but he makes a great play there. The Dragons struggling to punch it in, though. 3rd and goal. Puma scrambles to the right. He's got wide open rushing room. He'll take advantage. His 9th rushing touchdown of the year. And the Dragons make it a little closer, as it's now 28-14. Still a lot of work to do with under 6 minutes to go. Got to get a stop here if you want any chance of making this a game. Dak on first down connects with Dynamite Williams, who continues to have a great game, bringing it to the 41. Clock is ticking. Under 5.5 to go. Play action. Prescott not shying away from throwing as he threads the needle again for Williams, who already has the Cowboys in enemy territory. 3rd and 10. Prescott to the sidelines. This time it's Ferguson who gets the first down. That does stop the clock, but the chains continue to move. At the 17, it's Dynamite Williams again who gets it to the 4. Unfortunately, he's dinged up on the play. Shouldn't be a serious injury, though. And then 2nd and goal. Pollard is flipped over. The Dragons not making it easy here on Dallas scoring. Let's see if they can punch it in on 3rd and goal. From the 4, clock ticking. Dragons not using their timeouts as CeeDee Lamb hauls it in for his 12th receiving touchdown of the year. Dallas leads by 3 possessions with under 2 minutes to go. That's probably the dagger. Dragons looking to get some last-second points as Puma Whitlock makes an incredible throw under pressure on the run for Arturo Modelo. Now at the 39. Puma looking downfield, and J-Mo comes down with a really impressive diving snag. Following play action. Puma's got Modelo again. We've got to talk about the year Arturo Modelo's having. 3rd in the NFL in receptions, 5th in yards, 5th in touchdowns. He has been fantastic. Here's Puma on the run, fires for Tykeem Keon Jr., who gets the score, his 2nd of the year. What an impressive drive by Puma Whitlock. Not that it's going to matter. Dragons going for the onside kick, and yeah, unsuccessful. Cameron Dicker does not get it by the line of scrimmage. Another homecoming. Dicker played his college ball at the University of Texas, horns down. So since the ball went out of bounds, Dallas gets it back. 3rd and 2, looking to finish off the game for good. It's another pass, and it's broken up by Samisoni Saluni. So the Dragons get the stop. Cowboys will kick. On the way, it is up and good from 45, and it's now 38-21. The Dragons are still going to try for some more points here with around 40 seconds. Here's Puma Whitlock under a ton of pressure, floats it up for Modelo, who makes a really nice catch, and he's out of bounds at the 17. What a play by Puma Whitlock and Arturo Modelo. 2nd and 10 with 20 seconds to go. Puma on the run with a strike for Jamison Williams, who walks in for a score. Again, it's not going to matter. The game's over. But the Dragons' offense was really good in garbage time. That'll do it, though. The Cowboys win it 38-28. Just their 3rd win of the year. They improved to 3-10. The Dragons, meanwhile, lose just their 2nd game since week 1. I don't think this score tells the story of this game. 38-28 is a lot of points, but truthfully, there wasn't much offense, especially from us, until garbage time, with 21 points in the 4th quarter. And yes, Puma Whitlock looked awesome in the 4th quarter, but guess what? It didn't matter. The game was already over. Prior to the 4th quarter, Puma was probably like 15 of 21. He was efficient, but he only had like 100 yards in the air. Dallas's defense really game planned well. Their coverage was really tight, and their pass rush was good enough to where Puma Whitlock had to throw the ball quick. So because of that, there was no explosive element of the offense until the 4th quarter, where we just had to play hero ball, and it just so happened to work out. I think Dallas's defense was really, really good, despite the fact that Puma's numbers look really strong. Dak Prescott with a great game. He was very good. We could not run the ball at all. That's a major issue. At least Arturo Modelo was good, as was both Williamses, Dynamite and Jamison. CeeDee Lamb was quiet, though. Only 6 catches for 54 yards and a touchdown. Shout out Jeff Okudah. He really showed up today. Micah Parsons was good, 2.5 sacks. Only 1 sack for us. Again, the pass rush really has not been good over the last 5 weeks. I think that's because Simeon Bonnet has really slowed down. I will say, Bonnet was the only guy with pressure today, and he did have a pretty good game with a sack and a handful of QB hits. So he was good, but nobody else was. A rough loss here. It's only our 3rd loss of the year. We could afford to lose this game. We'll be fine in the NFC playoff picture, but this does hurt our chances of winning the division, especially considering the Rams and Seahawks both won this week. B.J. Ojulari is going to miss the next 4 games. Grady Jarrett will miss the next 3. And that's on top of Devin White, DeAndre Swift, and Jedrick Wills already being injured. 5 key starters out for next week's game against the Rams. So as I mentioned, 1, along with Seattle nearly dropping 50 on the 49ers. Players of the week, Kenneth Walker, Joe Burrow, Juan Thornhill, and Eddie Jackson. That's a weird group of players. That'll bring us into week 14, our new biggest game of the year, against the LA Rams, who can tie this season series up. They can tie us in the division. We are without 5 good starters in this game, so it's going to be a challenge, but we're back at home. Hopefully we can rebound after a bad loss against the Cowboys. Probably going to have a prospect profile as well in the next episode. I haven't decided for sure, but I think that will be the plan. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you are new. Peace out.